Hey guys, this is Welcome to Adulting, your support group for all of the difficulties that we all face in being a grown-up. I'm John.
I'm Shawna.
And I'm Caleb.
And we're here today to talk about just the weird, confusing, difficult stuff that we all face. Being an adult should be easy, but it's really hard, you guys. We all struggle with it, but we're all doing okay. We're hanging in there, and we want to be there for you too, to kind of encourage you, to lift you up and let you know you've got this, you're doing a good job. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I think that we can all relate to in this stage of life. It's wedding season. We all either get invited to a lot of weddings, or maybe you're planning a wedding. Maybe you're trying to figure out, what to do on that big day. I'm not there yet, but I still go to a lot of weddings. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later today. But first, I want to start on a kind of positive note, do a little bit of encouragement, and talk about our adulting wins. So I want to kind of throw it to you guys first. Shawna and Caleb, how did you guys adult this week?
I am in an accounting class right now, and the beginning was pretty difficult for me, and I'm proud to say that I'm grasping it with some understanding. That is my win.
Nice. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to you about this before. When I was in school, I did that thing where I would calculate the minimum amount of effort I would have to put into a class I didn't like. Like, if it was a class I liked, I would go like all in on it, and I would do all the work and like do extra, But if it was like, if I had taken an accounting class, if it was like a math class, or like some of those where like I had to take it to graduate, I'd be like, okay, what do I need for a C? Or like I would just do the minimum amount to like do okay.
I actually called my advisor. I'm like, so what happens if I fail this? Like, am I going to lose my grants? I mean, my GPA is obviously going to be affected.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to throw in the towel. And he's like, no, you can do this. It's okay. So I literally started over with chapter 1. And I am on chapter 6. 3 to go. And I understand it.
Awesome.
For you, does failure mean a B or does failure mean an F? Because I know people who go to school, and failure can mean very different things. Because for me, failure meant an F. But for a lot of my friends, failure meant like an A- or a B.
Yeah, so when I was in school, nothing really came easy to me. I had to study really hard. And with this program, I know I'm in the right place because I'm doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So last semester, don't be like, oh, poor Shawna. Okay, I got a 4.0. I'm really proud of that, okay? So now I'm getting a B in accounting, and I know that's good, but I have that straight A, like, finish line in my brain. So I'm just trying to let that go.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's pathetic. I'm sorry.
There's a part of me that wants to be cynical and wants to be like, that's dumb, you should be happy with a B. But I totally get it though. Like it's really important to have those goals and to be doing your best. Like there's no shame. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like you're going back to school, you're like putting in this work, like you want to get the most out of it and do your best. And I think that's a really good thing. And that's something that
awesome, thanks.
I personally don't always have that mindset, and that's something I'm trying to work on, is like, don't just do it, like do it really well. But yeah, congratulations. Good job, Shawna.
Thank you.
Caleb, what about you? How have you adulted?
Well, I am a recent homeowner, so I mowed the lawn for the first time this week.
I want to clap, but that was really bad on microphones.
No, so it was really, really interesting because when I was living with my parents before I got married, my dad, who was really, really sick, just hired a landscaping crew to do the lawn work. And then we got married, and then we moved to an apartment. So I haven't mowed the lawn in like 7 years.
Wow.
And I was just like, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Because I bought a lawnmower. I filled it up with the gas, the oil, all of that, followed the manual right. And it just wouldn't start at first. And then I was pushing it on the grass, and it wasn't cutting any of the grass. So I had to learn how to like lower the wheels and all of that fun stuff.
Is it a push mower where you're like pulling the string 1,000 times?
Yep, absolutely. And I didn't realize I bought one that doesn't have a bag, and you can't put a bag on it. So I had to now I have to push broom all the shreds into like a pile and then put them in a bag.
That's the worst. When I was a little kid, this relates to adulting a lot because it really shows my mindset now even. I went to the hardware store with my parents, and we had just bought a house. My dad was shopping for a lawnmower, and my mom turned to me and said, John, make sure you pay attention because someday you're going to have to do this too. I was probably in second or third grade, and I just turned to her and I go, it's okay, Mom, I got it figured out. I'm going to rent. And I still have that mindset. I don't understand why anyone would want to own a home because you have to do things like mow the lawn and shovel the driveway, and it's crazy.
I agree with you. When there's 3 feet of snow, I understand. But there's a part of me that loves mowing. I don't know why. It's like
It's
calming
awesome.
and it smells
Then
good.
get a part-time job where you like mow people's lawns. Like,
No.
that's so.
It's yours.
I
It's yours. And that's what's so awesome about it. And well, I made the mistake of buying a corner lot, which meant that it's too small for a riding mower, but it's a lot of work for a push mower. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. Now, I don't know all the property lines, so I might have graciously mowed part of their lawn this week.
This neighbor's great. Look at him mow our lawn.
Or you could be being a huge jerk and like just like left half of yours unmowed and been like, you take care of it.
That's right. It could have gone very much either way, but I'm like, I'll just mow right down the middle.
There you go.
And was really inconsistent. Like you could see where I first mowed already. It's already like really, really tall compared to the other stuff. But I was just way too tired after that to go back and mow it.
That's nice. That's awesome. Good job. I was talking with one of our coworkers. I'm not going to name a name, but she said that she is, she's a mom and she has, adult children. And she said that she has never mowed a lawn in her life before. And I was like, how do you get that far in life without doing it? She's like, I've done plenty of other stuff. I've raised this many kids and I've done all this and I've done that. And I'm fine not doing this. So good job. You are one up on one of our coworkers who will remain unnamed.
That is awesome. Yeah. It was a big win because it was after work and I just really didn't feel like it. But then I think it's also a part of owning is I was driving back home and I saw people mowing their lawn and I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. That just lets his yard just grow. So
Nice.
Yeah, I did it. And I was very tired afterwards because it is huge. So
Nice. Congratulations. I feel like my adulting win is going to sound not quite like an adulting thing, but I'm going to explain why it is. I went on vacation last week and it was the type of thing where like I knew I had to, like mentally had to, because if I didn't, I would just like crash and burn and just turn into an absolutely miserable person to work with and be around. And like knowing myself and knowing kind of like where I'm at as a person, I just forced myself to go on vacation, which doesn't sound like, oh, you had to force yourself to go on vacation. But like, no, it's tough sometimes, when there's a lot you have to do, but you need to take that time to rest. So I went down to Chicago, hung out with some friends. Thank you to Tristan and Laura for letting me stay at your house. Just crashed on a couch, drank a bunch of coffee, ate a bunch of really good food, had some good pizza. It was so much fun.
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, that is good because it can be hard to like make yourself take a vacation.
Now, what pizza did you get in Chicago? That's really important.
I got Pequod's, which is like, I think there's only like 1 or 2 locations. They have a $5 lunch that it's great. They have like this like burnt, basically like the edge of the pizza looks burnt. It's like caramelized. It's so good.
Oh, I know.
That or Lou Malnati's. Those are my 2 go-tos. Giordano's is garbage. Never go to Giordano's. That's where tourists go. If you're
Zach
a tourist,
wants to go so bad.
Zach, no, tell him Lou Malnati's. Again, tourists go to Giordano's. Locals go to Lou Malnati's because they know what's going on.
As somebody who's lived in Chicago way longer than you have, that is a lie. But
I lived there 4 years. I think I know.
I guess
right,
we are not getting advertisement from
but,
these guys.
You know,
it's
it's all about Phil's Pizza anyway there. And if you don't know where Phil's Pizza is, then, it's cash only. It's the best pizza in Chicago.
I wasn't near Phil's. I'm not saying Lou Malnati's is the best. I'm saying like for the bigger, like more well-known chains, it's so much better than Giordano's. So much better. Giordano's is just bready crust.
No Giordano sponsorship
We
here.
could go on a long rant about that. I'm not going to do that. I want to share really quickly. We've asked people to write in their adulting wins. Caleb, where can people write in their adulting wins?
Yeah, when you subscribe to us on iTunes, you can always just leave a comment there and share your adulting win. We also have a Facebook page, Welcome to Adulting Podcast. There is the dash line in there for Welcome to Adulting Podcast. You can share your adulting win there, and we're on Instagram.
There you go. So I got this one from Pazu, and she said, I love how she started this. She said, I absolutely can't live being an adult 24/7. They're always so serious. Top things I felt I was adulting these past couple weeks. 1, paid my bills on time. 2, being able to consolidate with my bank. 3, scheduling a doctor's appointment. That's huge. I'm horrible at scheduling appointments. And 4, believe it or not, planning for my retirement. I was out with a girlfriend and we were talking about our lives when I mentioned that I want to travel around the world on a boat when I retire. I don't know if that counts as planning retirement, because if just having like a vague
That
idea of like,
absolutely counts.
I want to go on a boat when I retire, like
Not go, live.
live
on a
which,
boat.
If that counts as retirement, like I've totally thought about retirement, which makes me feel so much better because I have no plans for it or no like financial plans for it right now. But like, you know, I'd like to travel, so I guess that counts. So cool. I have planned for retirement. I've adulted as well. But yeah,
Way to go, Pazu.
good job, Pazu. Way to adult. But yeah, if you adulted, like we were saying, let us know. Let us know on Instagram, on Facebook, or leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Let us know how you adulted, and you might get a shout out. So we're going to take a really quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about weddings. So stay tuned.
You know, adulting can be pretty hard, and sometimes you just hit a wall and you want to give up. Don't do it. You've got this. Maybe you need a little bit of help and you need some prayer. May I encourage you to go to thefamily.net. There's a prayer wall right there. You hit that, you submit your request, and we'll let you know when you've been prayed for. Don't give up. Keep on going. Share your prayer request and know that we're praying for you and rooting for you.
Welcome back, you guys. So we were talking about weddings, and I know absolutely nothing about weddings. I can say with almost like 100% confidence that I am fully unequipped for anything wedding related. And we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about how little I know. But Shawna, you are an expert. You are a pro at weddings. You've had one. You've probably been to a lot more than I have. You seem like someone who, you know, has your stuff together when it comes to weddings. So I'm going to kind of throw the conversation to you and let you tell us about weddings. Shawna, what is a wedding?
What is a wedding? Well, it depends on if you're a guest or a part of the wedding party.
Okay.
But so I had been to a lot of weddings. I was always like the flower girl growing up.
Always the
I've
flower
been a
girl, never the bride.
bridesmaid. Yeah. I don't know, like maybe 5 or 6 times. And then obviously I was a bride, John.
Mm-hmm.
But so start off with, how many are you guys invited to this summer?
I was invited to one, and I can't go because it's in like North Carolina. So I'm not going to travel down there. I feel really bad because it was a good friend of mine from college, but I just can't afford the time off. So yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Caleb?
I've been invited to one so far this year, and I know that we'll hopefully, I shouldn't say I know, be invited to another one. It's cousin's wedding. They just got engaged, so we'll see. I
am remembering right now. I did get invited to another wedding over a year ago. Then someone just sent out a Facebook invite of like, hey, we're getting married, come to our wedding. And then I haven't seen anything else from it. And so I don't know if it's still happening. I haven't even seen these people since then. I haven't talked to them, haven't done anything. So we'll see. Maybe I'm going to a wedding in September.
That's from the stress of planning. Like in the beginning, you're like, okay, we're going to do every detail.
Everyone's
And then towards
coming.
the end, you're like, email invite.
Can I ask you a question, Shawna? Was your wedding a DIY wedding, or did you like give it to people to figure it out?
Okay, so I was 19 when I got engaged, 20 when I got married. My now husband and I had planned on getting married. We had been dating. We were high school sweethearts. And I wanted to get married in the summer. He goes and joins the army. And they're like, well, if you want to go with, you have to get married. So we planned a wedding in like 3 months. And we're at the mercy of our parents to pay for it. So they got to make all the decisions because they're paying for it.
Right.
But we did, they cared about my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this thing, which for anyone that's engaged, please use this. So when his mom would give me an idea and I didn't like it, I felt bad for saying no. So I would go, Zach, what do you think? And that would be the hint. No. If I liked it, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds good. So just a little trick for anyone that's engaged. That's how you can kind of keep the peace.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what was the original question? Sorry.
If it was a DIY. So it wasn't a DIY wedding. You passed it along to other people.
I did. We did a lot of like made our own flowers, made our own decorations, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a team effort.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of going to be talking a little bit more about like going to weddings, correct? Because I'm the only one in this room who's not married, but I have.
Let it know, John.
I'm single, ladies. You know, you can like us at Welcome to Adulting on Facebook
Ready
or
to
on
mingle.
what's our Instagram. No, but we. So I've been to an okay amount of weddings. I never know what to do at weddings or like what kind of gifts to bring. I have accidentally crashed weddings before, and so I like just last minute bought them like Monopoly. I've been to weddings where like I'll bring them like a $10 gift card or something like that. I never know what to bring, what to do. I just kind of like stand around. I'm going to be real. I don't like weddings. I feel like weddings are for married people. And as a single person, weddings are no fun.
Okay, well, let's start with this.
Okay.
What do you most look forward to when you have to go to a wedding?
I don't.
Oh,
No, because I go there and it's just like constant like existential dread of like, oh no, another person who's getting married who I'm behind. And then I go home and I just sit at home like dreading. It's like maybe the food, depending. I went to a wedding once where they had Chipotle cater, which was amazing.
That's
it was
a win.
so good. Do that, you guys. It's so much easier. It's like maybe the food, but even then, like I hate dancing, so that's out. Like normally I hate large groups of people, so that's really terrifying for me. And it's just they always will like have ceremonies where they'll like have some sort of preacher rip Bible verses horribly out of context, and like I went to Bible school, so I know what those verses are saying, and it's like that's talking about brotherly love. It's not talking about romantic love.
Love is patient.
No,
love
yeah.
is kind.
I could go on a huge rant about that, but I'm not going to. But yeah, so that's the thing that's really stressful for me. So like for you guys, do you guys actually enjoy going to weddings, and like how do you make it enjoyable?
I do. Absolutely. You know, I just love that celebration of two people in front of God and family and friends, making that commitment and that covenant to each other. Mm-hmm. I actually love ceremonies. Now, for a while, I got kind of tired of it because a lot of our friends got married with the same pastor. So the pastor had the same sermon, just changed names, basically. And we all knew that. And in fact, he did our wedding too. And I love him. But ours was a little different because he had to speed ours up because it started raining during our outdoor wedding. So I love the ceremonies and I love dancing. I feel like weddings are the only place where people do not judge you when you dance. And I love that.
That depends. That depends on your amount of craziness. But I'm that person that, okay, I'm going to admit it. I cry during the ceremony. I love to dorky dance. I take advantage of the time. Like, that's me. So I told you guys, I'm that awkward person. I embrace it. So my purpose is to embarrass my husband on the dance floor.
Mm-hmm. The only song that I'll dance to is Jump Around. I don't know who plays it, but like that's the one song where like I physically just have to like get out there and jump. And then I immediately like am filled with regret and embarrassment. And like, I know everyone else is being ridiculous and crazy. It's just not my thing, you know? But your point about crying though, I do like people's reactions to, you know, when the bride walks down the aisle or when people are like caught up in the emotions in the moment. At my sister's wedding, when she walked down the aisle and everyone rose, my grandma, I love my grandma. She's great. She has no filter. She just turns around and just really loudly goes, "Oh, she's gorgeous." And like, just it's really like calm, like very like peaceful, like beautiful moment just interrupted with, "Oh, she's gorgeous." And it's like my mom sitting there like, "Shh, mom, no." And it just broke up the whole feeling and just added this like huge like levity. And it was so funny.
That is amazing.
Oh, I love my grandma. She's great.
That's funny because at my brother-in-law's wedding, we had the grandparents sitting up front too.
Mm-hmm.
And we made the mistake of putting my mother's dad and my father's dad next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking the entire time. They're like pointing out the structure of the building and like, "Grandpa, be quiet."
Yes.
That's great. I do also really like, this is going to sound horrible, but I think everyone loves like when things go wrong at weddings, right? Like
Goodness.
At one of my other sister's weddings, they had like that runner, or whatever that's called, and it just didn't work. So like that paper thing that's supposed to go down the aisle, and my mom eventually was just like, fine, whatever, and she just like broke it and like threw it away. Or at the same sister's wedding, this isn't something that went wrong. It was just something funny. She unintentionally, well, she didn't care about it, but she walked down the aisle to the same song that Bella Swan walks down the aisle to in Twilight. And she it's just a legitimately good song. I think it was like
1,000 Years, right?
Yeah, it's like a Sleeping at Last song. It's a great song. But
It played at my wedding.
But she walked down the aisle to the same song that Bella did. She's not like a Twilight fan or anything. I mean, I know what song Bella walked down the aisle to. I've seen those movies twice. They're great. But so that was just really funny. But do you guys have any stories about like other things that either went wrong or were like funny or awkward or strange at weddings that you've been a part of?
Yes. So at my wedding, there were a couple things. As I mentioned, in the middle of our wedding, it started to hail and rain. And so it was like one cloud in the sky, beautiful day, just happened to come over us and for a minute. And so we have this great picture in our living room of all of our family members and friends with their plastic chairs over their heads, like to protect them. That was awesome. Then I actually had to offer the DJ a break and say that I would DJ for him at my wedding. So in the middle of the wedding, he's just like, I'm having a panic attack, man. I don't know what to do. He's like, I haven't eaten in like 13 hours. And I'm like, why? You've had time.
Yeah.
And
like pack a Luna bar or something.
Do you need me to take over? And he's just like, I just put it on autoplay. And I'm like, all right, go eat.
So did you get a discount?
No. So at the end, he was just like, I had already paid him. And he goes, hey, man, if you weren't pleased, just please don't write a bad review. Please don't write a bad review. And I was just like, don't worry, you're not getting a bad review. Because I just didn't give a review.
Yeah.
Now, when the music started going, it was great. He did a great job. But yeah, that was by far one of the most weird moments at my wedding, was having to offer the DJ to take over and be the DJ at my own wedding.
Can I share my embarrassing moments?
No.
Please.
So I have two. When I was like 9, I went to this wedding and I got all dressed up. I was wearing heels.
Which is a big deal when you're 9.
I was not paying attention. It is. I was excited.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. I stepped on her dress and she walked away and I ripped it. I ripped it bad. It was so embarrassing. So that was my fail. And then at my dad's wedding, I made a speech and I'm an emotional person. Like I cry easily. I got up to do the speech. I looked at everybody staring at me and immediately started crying. Not because I was of fear from talking, but just because I was so happy for my dad. So I put my back to the crowd and put my finger up, like, hold on a second, for literally 2 minutes, trying to like gain my composure.
I was at a wedding where the father of the bride was giving a speech, and he spent the entire time talking about how great one of his other son-in-laws was, and just like gave about a 10-minute speech, and probably 9 minutes of that was how great his other son-in-law was. And then he turned and was like, this guy's probably pretty good too. And it was like, oh no. And it was completely unironically, totally like legitimate, him just talking about how great. And I was like, oh no. And it was really awkward.
See, I'm a fan of the funny speeches. Like, you can throw in the I love you, I grew up with you, have a great life, but I love the embarrassing moments.
Yeah, embarrassing moment speeches are good to a point, though. I once went to a wedding where the most embarrassing moment was the best man got busted in college from the groom for doing something illegal. And,
unmentionable on this podcast.
Yeah. And so he shared that, though, in his speech. And then he went on to talk about, for 30 minutes, about all the other awkward encounters that he's had with this guy.
Which 30 minutes is already way too long.
Every time he'd like share a story, at the end he'd go, that was awkward.
So, no, I'm just saying, so we know kind of like what's awkward at weddings. What kind of advice and tips would you give then for people who want to go to a wedding but don't want it to be awkward? You know, like, so how do we avoid these awkward things at a wedding?
Well, I think there should be a rule on who gives speeches. Like, only the best man, only the maid of honor. When you extend past that, you have family members in the audience that just want to talk, and it goes on and on and on, or it's really not relevant. Just do like a blanket thank you for coming, let's eat.
Yeah. And I think another rule that needs to be established is if you are not a stand-up comedian, don't try to be. People work hard at being a stand-up comic. If you're not, that's fine. Like, this isn't a roast. This is a speech. You can add a couple jokes, but don't try to make it all like you roasting the other person, because it's just not going to work. One of my sisters told a story at another sister's wedding that made my nephew cry, like my 6-year-old nephew cry, because she told about this time that like when we were little kids and my sister bit me on the back. And my nephew was so like distraught at the idea of someone getting bitten on the back, and he just thought it was so mean and like started crying and just like ruined the entire it was great. But
how many speeches have you had to give? Any speeches? I know, Shawna, you said you gave a speech.
No.
You never gave any speeches?
No.
I've had to do 3.
No one trusts me with being a best man.
I've been the best man 3 times. And
I've given 3 too.
Yeah, I feel like each one got more and more terrible at the same time. So my brother's was great because I was just like, hey, it's great. My brother finally admitted that I am the better man. And then my other one, I feel like it was kind of weak, but we grew up watching Digimon together. That was our friendship. And so I compared marriage to the 8 crests of the Digidestined.
No one's going to get
and
that.
And Carissa's like, I don't know what that was. And my friend who was getting married, though, he's like, that was beautiful. I was like, I'm like, at least he got it.
Oh, no.
It's for him anyway.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time talking about the speech. I want to kind of rapid fire really quickly and see a couple other like key parts of the wedding. See what you guys think for these. Let's start with gifts. How much should you spend on a gift for a wedding? Because I've done everything. I normally don't go above like $20 with my gift, but I don't know if you guys have another, thing.
Okay, so it's obviously a budget thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you can afford it, we try to give cash because then it kind of helps the couple, set off financially. Mm-hmm. Of course, they always have the amazing gift registries, so you can't go wrong.
Would you say
I would either go ahead.
Would you say to go for cash or go for the registry?
Go for cash. And then you can always get a smaller gift off the registry and then give a meaningful like note or something. That's really what I cherished was those sweet like wish you wells from like Zach's babysitter growing up or his aunt, uncle. Like that just, it means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would just do $25 as a single person. And then after I got married, I discovered my wife, she has, and again, it depends on your financial situation and all of that. But for my wife, it was always $50 a head. So I think it also depends how much they gave you, because I remember going to weddings after I got married and I was like, oh, they gave a lot.
So does that mean I don't have to give anyone anything? Because I haven't gotten married yet, so they haven't given me anything.
I don't know, like, because it's weird. Wedding gifts, I mean, I had family members give me like literally $17 in singles for a wedding gift. Mm-hmm. And then I had some surprise unnamed cards with $1,000 in it. And I was just like,
wow,
I don't know who gave this to us.
I need to get married.
That's a good point though, John. So if you go to a wedding single, you should at least give enough to pay for the cost of your meal.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So kind of as we're wrapping up, what one like final piece of advice for weddings would you give people? Like what's the one thing that they need to do or not do or remember when they're going to weddings? Shawna, what would you say to people?
RSVP. I'm awful at that. And I didn't understand the importance until I was planning and trying to pay for things and trying to account for everybody. It's a serious thing.
Mm-hmm.
My advice would be if you are attending the wedding, remember that it is not about you. And if you are in the wedding or if you're the bride or the groom, remember it's not about you. So this is a covenant between you and God, and it is a beautiful time to celebrate that union.
And don't wear white. Do not wear white to a wedding.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that I would say is maybe not advice, more of a takeaway, and something that I kind of need to remember when I go to weddings is like, just have fun with it too. Like if you're going to the wedding, especially if you're single, it can be really tough and really, it can kind of be a sad thing, but don't let it be. You know, like find a couple of people who you're friends with, hang out with them, just party, have a good time, like make it fun. Find a way to find the fun in it. Even if you are a pessimist like me, too bad. Go for it. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. It's going to be great.
And you never know who you're going to meet at that wedding.
That's right.
Exactly. There you go. So, yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you, Shawna and Caleb, for sharing, talking about weddings and all the stuff that, you know, the fun, weird, confusing things in weddings, the awkward speeches and moments. If you guys have weird speeches and moments that you want to share with us, or something funny that happened at a wedding, let us know on Facebook or on Instagram. Caleb, where can they find that?
It is Welcome to Adulting Podcast. Welcome to Adulting Podcast on Facebook. And we do have an Instagram page. I believe it's Welcome to Adulting Pod. And you can always message us on iTunes or Google Play and let us know your wedding wins and fails there.
Yeah. And you can go to welcometoadultingpod.com and let us know. You know, you can connect with all of our different social medias there, listen to other episodes, you know, just check out some other great stuff.
We would love if you shared your wedding highs and lows, those embarrassing moments and those things that you loved.
And if you know someone getting married, tell them about the podcast. You know, share this with a friend. Let other people know so that they can also share, and we can all kind of, you know, join together in this weird, funny thing that is going to weddings. So thank you guys once again for joining us. We hope you had a good time. We hope you have a good week. And we hope you can cut yourself some slack because you're doing a really good job. Bye.